So before we can attach our overlay to the lining, we have to make it. So make this maybe ahead of time, and that way it can dry. But for this particular pattern, this is not in the pattern, just my suggestion. So we're gonna cut a 1.5 inch by 7 inch piece of vinyl. Use the same vinyl as your front if you like the matchy-matchy. You know I do. So we're gonna cut this 1.5 inch by 7. Okay. You want to make sure you have nice, clean lines. So make sure we have 7 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1.5. Okay. Now we're going to close your blade, and we're going to take our pen, and we're going to measure from one side a 1/2 inch. Be very precise. So just draw a line all the way from top to bottom, 1/2 inch. And then draw another 1/2 inch line from there. And then on the sides here, we're going to draw I think it's 3/4. Let me make sure. I don't want to give you bad instructions. Nope. Yeah, well, yeah, about 3/4 of an inch on the sides. Oops. Okay, so you draw that down, and then you draw 3/4 of an inch line here. Okay, so there's the making of our zipper overlay. Can you see that, I hope? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to carefully cut out the inside box. The best thing is to only cut from the beginning towards the end, not all the way. And then you can use your scissors to make any final cuts, because otherwise you don't want to cut too far. But you always can cut with your scissors. So you're cutting on that line, and we're just cutting out the box. Okay? So start there and go to there. Bring your ruler over, make another cut. Then we'll take our scissors and we'll just complete the cut. Making clean, one-time cuts if possible. And then cut this way once. Make sure you don't cut too far. And we'll do this side. This side. Finish the box. And now we have your zipper placket. Now, or zipper overlay. I think they're called the both things. Now we want to round the corners if you want to. And the way to do that is simply just turn it over. Find a something that's round that you can use as a guideline. And we'll put it on the corner. You want to be consistent about what kind of angle you're using. And just draw the little half moon shape, if you will. Like I said, we don't need no templates for this. We can do it ourselves. We have all the tools in our hands. Sometimes you just gotta venture out of your comfort zone, right? All right. So now we've drawn our little half moon shapes, and we're going to cut them. Nice clean lines. All you're cutting is just that little corner off. It's already smooth. Now, if you wanted to leave it square, you could, but it's just kind of fun to learn how you can make your own little shapes. You don't have to, again, have a template. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to take your edge This is called leather acrylic paint. And you want to do this over, a clean surface with some paper down or someplace where you can get messy. And you're going to finish off the exterior edges. Make sure that if you get any on the front to wipe it off, and you want to do it for the inside as well. Again, you don't have to, but I think it protects this piece, and it looks better too. But it is up to you. So I will not do that here. But this is this is what we use. It's called Angelus black leather acrylic paint. It's about $3 on Amazon, and it has a nice little. I'll show you. It's got a nice built-in applicator, which is nice. So, all right, and then so go ahead and make your overlay, let it dry, and then we will work on adding the interior zipper pocket, and we'll show you how to put this on and keep all your sewing nice and straight. So, okay, so we'll catch you in a little bit. So now that we've made our zipper overlay or placket, I made a new one, by the way, because mine was a little bit crooked. And I did not edge coat it after all, because the inside of my vinyl actually is pretty dark. So this one is much cleaner than the one you saw earlier. So take your lining piece, and you're going to draw a line on the back, which is 1.5 inches across this way. And you want to mark your center as well. And then what you can do is just flip over your overlay. It has the center marks as well, and match it up. We want the line you drew to be the top of the box that you've cut out earlier. And just take a pen and draw carefully the inside of that box that you cut out previously. And now we're going to just fold this in half to get it going. And we're going to cut out the box that we drew, but you're going to cut it out about a 1/16 of an inch larger than the box you drew, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut. So I'm going to cut mine down the center here, and then I'll be more precise in my cutting this way. So we're going to cut a little bit outside the line that we just drew. Again, outside the box you drew, not on the line, or you're going to have to trim it again later on, which is not the end of the world, but why do it twice? Okay, so we've trimmed out our box, and now here's the front. Just going to flip this over to the front, and we're going to take our overlay and we're going to put it right on top of that box. And by doing so, you should not see any of the cutout behind it. Now this is a quickie look, but let's go ahead and put some double-sided tape on our overlay. Just put it like around the center, especially if you're concerned about sewing through double-sided tape. So. If by chance your vinyl or your overlay, leather or not, was maybe a little bit wimpy, you could fuse some Decaville light on to it before you did this part. But mine is substantial enough. So now I'm just going to pick off the tape. And we're going to carefully place it on top of the box that we cut out, ensuring that it's centered and there's no fabric showing, like so. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to take it to the machine, and we're going to simply top stitch all the way around to secure the overlay to the fabric. And then we will work on attaching the zipper itself. So first step is to sew the exterior, then we'll come back, we'll get our zipper ready, and we will sew the inside box, and that is the beginning of a beautiful overlay zipper. Now I'm going to show you one little tip here. Sometimes you don't really know when or where to pivot when you're putting your zipper in. So I like to use your little leather marker. I like to place little dots right here and that will give you a point of reference. I'll show you this way. I'll give you a point of reference when you are putting your zipper in. So just a little tip for you. So we're going to go to our machine next, and we will go ahead and attach this to the fabric, and then we will put our zipper in, and then we will move on to the slip pocket. So that's it for now. Okay, so I have my 1/8 of an inch Teflon foot put onto the machine. Start, doesn't really matter where you start, I'll start here. And I have my stitch length set to 4.5, and we're just going to go using our edge foot as a guide around the perimeter of the overlay. So, and I am not back stitching. We will pull the threads to the back since this will be kind of visible. We'll see. Okay. Just take it nice and slow, especially around the corners. Just going to do like a stitch, a pivot, and we'll continue around the corners, stitch, pivot, pivot, nice easy long stretch, coming around the corner, pivot, one stitch at a time, and coming around. And actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and just meet up over those existing stitches after a while because you can't see them. All right, so there we have. Get rid of all those extra threads. Back. And we have the first part of our overlay stitched very nicely. You can see we have a nice pivot. That just takes time, by the way. You'll learn as you go to around the corners. Wouldn't hurt to do some practice stitches if you ever have the time or inclination. So, but that's the beginning. And don't forget, we have our little dots there. That's going to help us pivot when we attach the zipper. So let me get our zipper ready, and we'll come back and put that on too. So be right back. All right, so we're going to use a little double-sided tape just to help position the zipper. You can use 1/8 of an inch, or this is 1/4 inch. I just cut a couple of small little pieces. I'll put it here at the top, there, and here. Hopefully you can see that. And we'll pick off the tape. And then we're going to position our zipper placket overlay, I forget, right on top of that. So it's even on both sides. And then you can make sure you pull the pull out, and you can approximate how much zipper tape you want to show. So I'm going to give it another little adjustment because I don't want that much showing. This double-sided tape sticks like it's supposed to. Okay, so that looks good. We'll verify that they are even on the back. They are. So that looks good. And now we're going to go to our sewing machine again, and we're going to stitch on the inside of the zipper, and you'll use the edge of your Teflon foot as a guide. Again, I don't start in any particular spot. You're going to want to pivot when you hit that dot that you drew earlier. And you'll see it's kind of helpful. And you may need a stiletto or a pair of scissors to help you get over some of those bumps. So let's go. So once you get to this spot, just use scissors or something to get over that little spot, because we don't want tiny stitches. So now you can kind of see, if you have to lift up your pressure foot to see, and then we're going to pivot. I'm going to go straight across to the other side, to the other dot. If you have to lift up your pressure foot to see the dot, one more, and then we're coming down. And your foot is inside the edge of the overlay with the zipper tape on the inside. Hope that makes sense. It basically is a guide for the foot. Make sure the foot is up there. Check where your needle's landing. That looks good. Do a pivot. Coming across the end. Checking where our needle lands. And zip it back up a little bit for the home stretch. Pull the zipper out of the way. Threads. And that, my friends, is how you attach a zipper placket. That looks nice, huh? So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch out our foot with my favorite foot that I did not lose. It's right here, see? Put it where it belongs. Put this on here. Using our quick release foot tool, we'll put our stitch length back to about 3.5. And we are simply going to sew down the sides of the pockets. I know that this is too long, we'll just lop it off. But we're going to sew down the sides. We're not going to sew down the bottom because we're going to pull our lining through that so that we have a nice finished seam when we're all done. But I'll show you that. So actually I'm going to go ahead and just trim this now so I know where to go. Okay. So we're going to sew about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch over. More like, yeah, about 3/8. And we are sewing. All the way down and back stitch at the end. Our scissors. Give our haircut. I'm just going to go this direction because it's easier for me. 3/8 of an inch. Hope you can see. Keeping the pocket lining out of the way. And that is that. Now, you have your beautiful overlay zipper. It's going to open up nice. The tape is hidden. We all like that. And like we said, we're going to leave the bottom open. We'll close it up at the very end. So that is that. Make sure you go ahead and remove the placement dots that you did